advisor told me my writing was actually quite good.
Watson, it is very difficult for me to read through these files with you prattling on about your session earlier this evening.
Oh, I'm sorry, Holmes. Have you found anything yet?
Yeah, I've read through Edwin Johnson's file. Now, judging by these session reports here, he appears to have met with Young on only one occasion.
And?
And it appears that Young was an uninvolved and, well, frankly, rather lazy advisor. Just take a look at one of these session reports.
We read through his paper. It was good. That's all not so bad?
Yes. Now take a look at and compare it to this one by a different advisor.
We went through his paper focusing mainly on the issues of organization and syntax. We made sure that the paper was cohesive and that the conclusion did not introduce any new information. We reworded several awkward sentences and fixed a few minor grammatical errors. Good God!
Precisely. Both of these reports were from the same essay that Edwin brought into the center. Now, I have been able to deduce that Edwin first brought it in and met with Young, but afterwards, unsatisfied by the feedback that Young gave, or lack thereof, he brought it in again and had a different session with another advisor to talk about his writing.
Well, how can you tell from one session report that a Young was a terrible advisor? Perhaps he was simply having a bad day.
Because, my dear Watson, I have also looked at Young's evaluations and compared them to those of other advisors. Now, Young received consistently poor marks. It wasn't just Edwin who disliked Young. It was everybody.
Have a look at this, old boy.
What?
It's an application for employment here at the Writing Center.
Yeah.
It states that writing advisors must have the ability to criticize constructively and articulate suggestions about others' writing.
A fact, Watson, that I'd hoped we'd already established.
But you didn't let me finish. It also states advisors must possess sensitivity to the feelings of other students, patience, and a desire to help others, as well as a willingness to implement collaborative learning techniques within the writing session.
All qualities that Young lacks, it seems.
Holmes,
Yeah.
you might want to have a look at this.
It's a class roster.
Yes. It seems this is the class that Writing Center advisors must take before gaining employment here at the center. Look at the second name on the list.
Evelyn Brown.
And isn't it interesting that she never mentioned her connection to the Writing Center before?
Probably because it is irrelevant. It is clear that Edwin, being a frequent visitor of the Writing Center, pushed for Young's dismissal based on the poor session that they had together. Now, since Edwin was so widely known here in the center, we can assume that other writers confided in him their concerns about Young's inadequacies as an advisor. Now, infuriated by his dismissal, Young must have joined the Staples and subsequently murdered Edwin.
The pieces do fit.
Yes.
How do we go about finding the Staples, Holmes?
Watson, while looking through this book, I have discovered a series of clues. Now, on each odd-numbered page, there's a random word circle. Put these random words together, and you have a series of clues which, in theory, should lead us to the secret meeting place of the Staples.
Yes, actually, we are quite close to solving the case.
Yes, things are wrapping up quite nicely. Might I inquire as to what you're doing in the halls at this hour?
I have to turn in a paper.
Might I see it?
I suppose.
Thank you. History. Fascinating.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll contact you as soon as we finish solving the case.
Well, thank you.
Holmes! Where are you going?
Back to the Writing Center, old boy. We need to collect more evidence.
More evidence? I thought we had sufficient amounts of evidence. We gotta search for Francis Young.
All in good time, my dear Watson. It would appear that Miss Brown's connection to the Writing Center might have some significance after all.
Oh? Why is that?
Because, Watson, the paper that Miss Brown is about to turn in was the very same paper that I found in Edwin Johnson's pocket the night he was murdered.